Hi Aries, it's Kendrick with Providence Tarot coming to you with your first proofread for the month of October. Happy Libra season. The sun is actually in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, some deaths, some breaking of some contracts or ideas that might be changing for you. So the sun is giving you some inspiration and like new ideas, right? But Mars is in your 1st house if you're an Aries rising, and it's bringing up some things where you're having to go back and redo some things, or you're having to reassess the potency of your ideas and if they actually can really be manifested, or if they can actually be brought down to some form of like substance, right? What are we working with? How can we work with it? That type of thing. You're definitely going through some transformative energy. Like I said, some endings that are happening, right? Okay, we're good. So this is the 2nd time I'm shuffling, and then I'm just going to lay them out and get going. All of the readings this time aren't going to be all 15 minutes apart. 15 minutes, maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'll be so inclined to do them all that way, but I kind of like to get them all done. You know what I mean? But we'll see. So this is the last one for you, Aries, and then I'm going to lay them out and do the top and the bottom. Okay, thank you, Spirit, for giving me these messages for Aries for the first proofread of October. Happy birthday, Libras out there. I can tell you right now that you're waiting, hanging in the balance. You might be feeling like you're, needing some time to think about some things, which direction you want to go in, with the Hangman being right here. And then it's also talking about, thinking about what you might be sacrificing, weighing out a few of your options too, because you always have to remember that you have options, but you're just trying to let time pass to see what like the universe or what the energies kind of like present to you as options, because you kind of like are confused as to what your options are. You know what I mean? You know that you can do something, or there's something that might be changing or happening or growing, right? You can feel it, definitely. You can also feel something kind of like getting a little bit closer, or it's a kind of almost like a higher knowledge that's coming in for you. So you're just waiting for this higher knowledge to be able to transform itself into what can be manifested here on Earth. Because you have to remember, this Hangman is a 3, and it's related to the world, and it's also related to the Empress, which is also Venus, okay? This is also saying that like you are realizing how you may have been giving up too much of your time, right? It is kind of like strategizing, right? So you're thinking of a new strategy, or you're trying to come up with a new strategy. You know what I mean? Something that you haven't done before, or something that you haven't tried before, because maybe some of the ways that you have tried haven't worked out the way that you have wanted to, or something seemingly is just kind of like unstable, right, in its idealism. So because like something may have been ideal, but now the idealism has become destabilized in some kind of way. So you have to pull back and wait for some changes to occur in order for you to like know what direction it's going in, and to also know what it is that you can get out of the situation. How are you benefiting from it? Whatever it is, weighing out the options. Okay, so right here we have to do with travel, you know what I mean? And this also has to do with like learning some mistakes from the past, right? Maybe you won't be too, you're gonna think about the risk that you're taking moving forward, because like sometimes the price that you pay is greater than the reward. You know what I mean? And this is also talking about getting to the point of something. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, getting an idea or a sense of like how things have changed in your life to navigate you in the new direction that you're going in. Again, it's still related to the Hangman, which is Neptune, Pisces energy, kind of like Jupiter in a sense. And this is Moon in Sagittarius. So this is also something that might be happening in December or November, late November, earlier December, where like you might be feeling like you're going in a new direction, or something is changing, you know what I mean? And you might be feeling some kind of way about these changes, right? And you're learning something as you go, right? So that's kind of like how you're figuring things out. You're learning as you're going. You're just kind of like seeing where things lead you. But this also talks about having some emotional wounds from the past, or having a sense of disappointment from the past, right? So you're being very discriminate moving forward in the future, right? That type of thing. It's like, I don't want to make the same mistakes that I made in the past, and I don't want to pay for any kind of misdirection, right? It's like, I don't want to make a mistake. So it's kind of like you're being defensive and you're being kind of careful as to like how you go about taking certain risks. You will take a risk, but it's kind of like you're weighing out, again, it's Libra season, you're kind of like trying to really get a feel for where things are going. So something is changing for you. You know it, but you don't know what the definition is yet. You're like, there hasn't been a defining moment. I know what I don't want, but it's almost kind of like, because now I know what I don't want that I used to want, I want something different, and it's kind of like I need to work out what that is. Okay, yeah, so it's very transformative. It's almost kind of like you're thinking about what you're going to get, what's going to be make the most sense for you. You know what I mean? You're thinking about what you've already satisfied, right? Because it does talk about being focused on satisfaction and being focused on, necessity, right? There's a necessity, essentials, it's like satisfaction, like what's going to be the best. And this is also like going in the direction of, it's kind of like chemistry, right? Like what's going to be the best equation here, what is going to satisfy me most of all, that type of thing. So you have to think about that too. It is kind of realizing where you may have given too much thought to something as being the thing that was going to satisfy a certain passion that you may have had. Maybe you put too much emphasis on a particular passion, right? That's something that like should have been allowed to change. You know what I mean? So looking back, you're like, okay, yeah, like anything can happen. So like, I don't always have to be fixed on an idea and form an emotional attachment to that idea, because things are always changing and growing and shape-shifting, and you never know what is going to be a powerful force that comes in and changes the course of things, right? So, and that could be anything, right? But there's some beauty in that card, and it's kind of like just letting go and letting things happen and letting life sort of like transform and change in ways that you didn't intend. That's the magic. But it's great to plan, you know what I mean? But things happen, It's how you cope with the changes, and you realize that there's power that can be like discovered within the changes, within the growth. Okay, so let's look at the back of the card. So in the back of the Hangman, you have the King of Pentacles. Exactly. So while you wait and while you try to figure out where things are going, something is actually going to come in and it's going to make the most sense for you. You know what I mean? It's going to feel the most secure for you. It's going to feel like very definitive, right? So this is the closest king that is to the Emperor, I believe. Yeah, actually, because it's Taurus and Aries is actually the Emperor. So yeah, for you, this is something that is going to make the most sense in terms of security, comfort, practicality, and long-term. Right, exactly. The King of Pentacles is related to the Four of Pentacles, which is talking about, security, investments. So you're investing in the future, definitely. So you have to think long and hard about what that looks like, what your future looks like for you. You know what I mean? For real. And it talks about being definitive about what you want, because you can't necessarily have it all. You're going to have to say no to some things, or you're going to have to cross some things off of your list. That's why this wall is back there. You know, and it could be just saying that you're a little bit headstrong about some things, but the Judgment card, which is in the back, says let go of control issues and also allow yourself to transform. Allow yourself to, you know, release some of the things that might have been holding you back for your, you know, just because of your affinity or your obsession, right? You may have talked yourself into believing something so powerfully, right? Exactly. So let go of that thing that was holding you back and realize that things can actually change, and that change could evoke something more powerful than you thought. That's even more meaningful to you going through it than you getting and having what it is that you wanted. So it's like something that you wanted to have, you have to let go of in order to let something new come in. You know what I mean? Okay, Aries, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. It's Providence Tarot. Also, my personal account is NYC Kendrick. I do have a food blog, and that is called The Tongue Pop. So follow that one too. You know, many talents over here. Happy Libra season, and I'll do a full moon in Aries video. What? Bye. Make the changes, honey. Life is powerful. More powerful than you two.